Today's review is the fourth beer from new Sainsbury's range. This is a Sweet As Pacific IPA. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to, get my hair in place, Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going back to Sainsbury's. As you say, we've all these last beers, one after the other, Sainsbury's beers. This is a Sweet As Pacific IPA, 5%, by the Horns Brewing Company and Jiddler's Tipple. So, interesting name. Never heard of either of these people before. Never had a beer from them before. It's a 5% IPA. It's a bit on the low side. It's interesting. It's basically a West Coast IPA, this, but it's... I'll read the blurb. They can say it better than I can. It says, get ready to embark on a flavour journey like no other, brewed with hops from New Zealand and North America. We've given this West Coast IPA a Kiwi twist. This brew takes your taste buds on a hoppy adventure, which we've coined a Pacific IPA. Prepare to be captivated by a sweet as hop combo of Nelson Sauvin, Muteca, Pacific Sunrise, and Ruaka. They're all from New Zealand, combined with Sabro from North America. So there's lots of New Zealand stuff, and then throw in something really pungent like Sabro. Expect moist tones of tropical citrus and stone fruit with a first quenching clean and crisp finish. So a West Coast IPA with New Zealand hops. It's not the first time I've had that. I have had a West Coast IPA with New Zealand hops, but for me, when I think of New Zealand hops, I think of juicy East Coast type of beers. So this is obviously a West Coast, and we've got Sabro in it. And again, I don't take the glass off now. I've read all the stuff. I don't think Sabro is a hop that I've ever seen in a West Coast IPA. Again, it brings pineapple and coconut. You wouldn't expect that with a crisp West Coast IPA. You're expecting orange and grapefruit and that bitterness and pine. Well, let's see what this is going to be like. I haven't seen any reviews of this. So I'm not sure what to expect. 5% is a bit low for any sort of IPA. And beer in a glass, well, I mean, to me, that looks like a lager. I mean, it doesn't even look like a West Coast. Usually a West Coast is a bit more orange amber, copper coloured. This is very lager-esque. It's almost got a yellowy tint to it. When I hold it up to my light here, it's like lager. There's nothing else I can say about it. Look at that carbonation, lots of carbonation. I expect this is going to be a fairly fizzy affair. We've got a finger of fairy liquid type of head that will not stick around that long. I'm going to give it a bit of a top up just to give it a little bit of, yeah, I mean, even topping it up, you see the head's not changed at all, but there's lots of carbonation moving very quickly up the glass. Whether that stops by the time I drink it, it's smoother, but I'm expecting a crisp lager, flavoured lager. So let's see what the aroma's like. Difficult to pick up much in the way of aroma. I'm really just getting citrus. Yeah, I'm not getting any of those sort of New Zealand aromas. I'm certainly not picking up Sabro. I'm picking up a lemony smell. That's about it. Okay, let's drink it. Cheers, everyone. Well, I can taste the Sabro in that, but it seems really out of place because when you drink it, the mouthfeel is really like a lager. It's got a very sort of sweet malt profile. It does say Sweet As Pacific. You get that sweet malt flavour that you get with a lager, you know, almost like a biscuity, cracker, sweet malts really. Then you get a hit of lemon, maybe actually a little pineapple in there as well. And then you're getting that woody sort of coconut flavour that you get from Sabro. In terms of New Zealand flavours, and all those New Zealand hops are in that, in this I should say, not really picking it out. I'm picking up lemony, bit perfumey, sort of flowery, sort of a floral sort of flavour, lemon, a woody sort of coconut, bit of pineapple coming in. Not picking up much in terms of grapefruit. Certainly not picking up like your grape and your gooseberry, kiwi, melon, any of that. Yeah, I mean it's a flavoured lager. It's what it is. It's no bones about it. That's what it is. It's a flavoured lager. It's not horrible though. I mean, with those sort of flavours, there's a lot of things that can go wrong when you get that sort of overly perfumey flavour. You've got Sabro in a fizzy sort of beer. That sort of thinks, well, that's not going to work. But it is refreshing. It's got a bit more flavour than you would expect from a lager. You get that sweetness. But I think with all the hops that are in it, they're all buried under some sort of weird brew of beer. I'm drinking it down though, as if it's like the last beer on earth. It's a little bit of bitter, not much bitterness. I'm looking for something, a little bit of dryness on the back end, a little bit, but then it's just like a little bit more like a German Pilsner, that sort of dryness on the back end. Sweet As Pacific IPA. I would have called this a IPL, international. India Pale, IPL, India Pale Lager. That's what to me it's like. The body's like it. Flavour wise, there's not enough bite or pine or any of that sort of stuff that you get with West Coast. If you call this as a West Coast, a little bit of an insult to West Coast IPA, because if you had this and thought, oh, I quite like that, I'm going to try a West Coast IPA from, I don't know, well, from say your bottle shop, for example, at 6.5%, and you drink that and you're going to go, ooh, that is very different, and that's what this is. It's an India Pale Lager. I'd have to say, this is definitely the worst of the four that I've had so far. I've got another one that come in that I didn't do on the little intro, which was a Two Tribes in a red can. It's a juicy IPA, getting low ABV, but yeah, maybe that's going to be better. But this is inoffensive. It's a fruity sort of coconutty lager. It's drinkable. I think this would be a sort of beer that you'd smash down on a summer's day, but in January that we're in now, it doesn't feel right. It's definitely a summery drink. In fact, the more I taste it, the flavour I'm getting, that sweetness. The sweetness is almost to the point where it almost feels like it's got lemonade in it. It's like a shandy. That's the flavour that I'm getting. I'm getting that sort of sweetness as if it was like a beer and lemonade. It's a shandy, for want of a better word. It's got that shandy sort of flavour, which even it's at 5%, I could drink this thinking it's shandy. I mean, look at it. I've nearly finished it. It's so easy to drink. It's a very light beer. It's okay. I'd recommend it if you want lager, but you want something a little bit more, and you want something summery and light and easy to drink, this is it. But if you're looking for a West Coast IPA or any sort of IPA with a bit of body and a bit of complexity and flavour, you're not really quite getting it. Those flavours the Sabro is in there, but it doesn't feel right to have it in a lagery sort of beer. So yeah, that's it. Let's get some scores. Come on. Okay, the scores are in for Sweet As Pacific IPA. This is by the Horns Brewing and Jiddler's Tipple. I love that name, Jiddler's Tipple. Really good name. Yeah, this is an interesting one. It says it's an IPA. I say it's an IPA, or an India Pale Lager. Very lagery. Got the Sabro coconutty woodiness about it. Got a bit of lemon, better perfumey sort of floral sort of flavour. It's a smashable sort of beer, but if you're expecting a West Coast IPA, you're not going to get it. And as I say, even in any sort of IPA, it's not really an IPA at all. It's more like a flavoured lager, like I said in the main review. So let's get the scores anyway, starting with aroma. Appearance. Flavour. Value for money. This again, actually, yeah, this one is still £3.50, so but if by four, £2.62.5p. And finally, my overall experience. So, tighten the scores up. We just about get into the recommended total score off. Yeah, I'm not going to sort of I mean, I've had so many worse beers than this, but I think it's just like I built it up thinking, oh yeah, it's a West Coast IPA, and it isn't. I've had international pale lagers. I've had one or two in the past, and this is what it is. But it almost tastes like a shandy. It smells, actually, the smell and the flavour, it's like a shandy. So if you like shandies, be careful, it's 5%. But I think if you drink it, that will be the flavour that you get from it. It's definitely, for me, it's a shandy. And I'll probably put something about shandy in the thumbnail so you already know that. So please give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Let me know what you think of these Sainsbury's beers. For me, that Polly's one is definitely the better one. And a little tidbit here, it's so good. And this is what I think Polly's are doing, because if you see that Polly's one in the supermarket, buy one, you know. And as I said, don't buy one, buy four, because that's £2.60. That is incredible value for that sort of quality of beer. The thing is that what Polly's do is that a lot of the stuff in the supermarket is on much more on a limited run. You'll see cans and cans of all the other stuff. You know, you'll see the Tiny Rebel stuff be always full up and always be loads of it in Sainsbury's. But the Polly's is always on a limited run. And I think what they do is they put it on a limited run. So you see it, you think, oh, I'll try that one. You drink it, you think, oh, there's not much compromise here. This is a really good beer. God, I want to get that again. Or if you're new to craft beer, you think, this tastes really good. I'm gonna buy this one again. You go back to the shop. It's on a limited run, so it's not there, and you think, oh, I'm really disappointed. I really enjoyed that. I want to try that again. So what you do is you go back home and you think, oh, I really want that Polly's beer. I want more from Polly's. What else they got? Go on the internet, find Polly's. You go, oh yeah, well it's £4.50, but you know, it was really good. Oh, look at all, they've got all kinds of different ones. I might buy some. That's where Polly's get you, innit? I don't get you, but that's what that draws you in, and you think, well, you've had your little taster of your Sainsbury's beer for £2.62 or £3.50 if you bought just one of them, and you think, I want more, I'm going to buy again. And then you get more, and then of course you realise how great Polly's are, and then you become like me, you become a mega fan, you know, you're a fanboy of Polly's, and before you know it, you're on their website, signed up for their newsletter, and every week you're getting an email and you think, oh, I might buy a little box of Polly's beer, or I might buy 3 or 4 of them, or I might buy, you know, and that is what is good marketing for me. That is a good way of being in the supermarkets. You get people in, you don't compromise on the flavour, you still make a good beer, people drink it, love it, they want to keep buying it from the supermarket at that cheap price, but they can't. But they love it enough that they will go online and they'll start buying it, and before they know it, they become a Polly's fan, and hopefully they'll become a craft beer fan, because they'll go, oh, I really like this, or what other breweries are there, and then they'll start going online and going to online bottle shops and seeing Polly's, knowing that they always know what they're going to get something good, and they'll get a few Polly's and they'll go, oh, what are these other ones, and they'll get some of those, and that's how we all become craft beer addicts, I'd say, you know, and that's how it should be. I think that is a good way, a good business model, really, of hooking people in at a cheap price and a good quality. I don't think they're conning people, because they're not bringing people in on a great beer and then you go off on their website and buy a lot of rubbish, because it doesn't work like that. It only gets better, you know. So yeah, thumbs up to you, Polly's. You know, I know you know what you do when it comes to marketing. Great branding, you've got it all right with the limited run stuff in the supermarkets. Yeah, spot on. You deserve every success. Anyway, this is not a review about Polly's beer, but I'm going off on one. So this beer is all right. Drink it if you like lager, but you want something a little bit more flavoursome. If you want something sweet like a shandy, it's also good. But, you know, I don't know. Would you pay £3.50 for a shandy? I don't know. I'm whittling on. I'm going to see what else is in the fridge. There's plenty of good stuff there. I've got supermarket beers. I've still got putty that I haven't drank. There's some great beers to come in. January, dry January. I've never had it so good in January. Until the next one, you know what you're going to do. Drink good craft beer and keep on rocking.